You know, before you take a trip, you probably check your government's travel advice, right? We all do. And it feels like this solid, reliable way to stay safe. But what if I told you that the very system we all trust, the one designed to protect us, is actually, well, fundamentally flawed? That your safety map might be pointing you in completely the wrong direction. Let's dig in.
So let's start with a really popular destination, Mexico. Okay, imagine you're planning a trip. You do the responsible thing, you check the official advice, and it says exercise high caution. Okay, makes sense. But then a friend points you to another totally trusted source that says reconsider your need to travel. Wait a minute, same country, same time, completely different advice. So, which one is it?
And look at this. This is the advice for Mexico from 4 super close allies, Australia and Canada. They say high caution. The UK, they get a bit more specific and warn against travel to certain states. But then the United States says you should reconsider travel to the entire country. How on earth can 4 of the most sophisticated governments in the world look at the exact same place and come to such wildly different conclusions?
And this isn't just about Mexico. This is a problem you see for countries all over the globe. It's a situation you could almost call the risk rating lottery, because the safety advice you get can feel pretty much random.
This puts you, the traveler, in a really tough spot. I mean, if the official experts can't even agree with each other, who are you supposed to trust? It makes you seriously question the reliability of the very systems we're told to depend on to keep us safe out there.
To really get why this happens, we have to kind of look under the hood at how these warnings are even made in the first place. Let's use the Australian Smart Traveller system as an example, because it's a pretty typical setup for what a lot of countries do.
At first glance, it seems super straightforward. You've got this simple 4-level scale. Level 1 is basically be sensible, like you would at home. And level 4 is a very clear do not travel. The whole system is designed to be easy to digest, to turn all this complex intel into just a few simple categories. But here's the catch. That simplicity, that's exactly where the problem starts.
Yeah, that very simplicity leads us straight to the core issue with this entire approach. It's what we can call the one-size-fits-all flaw. And believe me, it has huge implications for your personal safety.
This right here is the fundamental assumption that's baked into pretty much every single government travel advisory system out there. One rating for one entire country for every single person who goes there.
So the system sees an entire country through this one rigid lens. But your reality, it's completely different. Think about it. The system treats a 22-year-old backpacker exploring remote villages the exact same as a 55-year-old executive staying in a secure hotel for a 2-day conference. Their risk profiles are worlds apart, but the advice they get is identical. Your own personal context, your age, your gender, why you're even traveling, it's all just completely ignored.
And get this, it's not just governments that are all over the place. This quote from an industry expert reveals something pretty shocking. When they compared the top 6 commercial risk providers, the companies people pay for this info, they only agreed on country ratings 41% of the time. Just 41%. That is a massive, massive level of disagreement among the so-called experts.
And make no mistake, this isn't some small academic debate. We're talking about big business. The travel risk management industry is projected to be worth over $223 billion by 2031. That is a gigantic global industry being built on these exact same inconsistent, one-size-fits-all models.
And this is where we see the real human cost of a flawed system like this. A single rating for an entire country just can't account for the unique vulnerabilities of different people. I mean, think about an LGBTQ+ traveler in a country with discriminatory laws, or someone with disabilities trying to navigate a city with zero accessibility. Their risks are specific, they're personal, and yet the official advice stays totally generic.
So if the old model is broken, what's the alternative? Well, we need to move away from these vague ratings and start moving towards the science of personal risk. It's about building a much more accurate, evidence-based picture of safety that actually applies to you.
The solution really is about shifting our whole perspective. So instead of relying on one single flawed number, a modern, smarter approach uses 3 different scientific lenses to create a customized risk profile for each traveler and their unique trip. Okay, so the first lens is risk science. This is all about probability. It moves beyond just saying a country has high crime, and it starts asking what is the actual quantifiable chance of a traveler just like you experiencing that crime in the specific neighborhood you're going to be in. It's about replacing fear with facts. Next up is safety science. This lens is all about actionable advice.
So it's not about those generic warnings anymore. It's about understanding which specific behaviors and preparations will actually reduce your personal risk. It's asking, what concrete steps can you take in your situation to stay safe?
And finally, we've got security science. This one analyzes dynamic threats, things like terrorism, protests, or targeted crime. It looks at your specific itinerary and your profile to figure out which threats are actually relevant to you, instead of just giving you a laundry list of every possible bad thing that could happen in an entire country.
So what's the big takeaway here? What does all of this mean for you? Well, it means taking ownership of your safety by understanding that the real risk profile that matters is yours, and yours alone.
And if there's one thing to remember, it's this. Being paper safe, just ticking a box that says you checked the government website, is not the same as being truly safe. It just creates this illusion of security while completely ignoring the risks that are actually most relevant to you.
This is the shift we need to make. We have to get away from a generic country rating and move towards your personal risk profile. We need to go from vague warnings to actionable steps. We have got to ditch the one-size-fits-all model and embrace a new standard. One size fits one.
So the next time you're planning a trip, just remember this. The future of staying safe out there isn't about relying on some generic, inconsistent map that's handed down from on high. It's about building your own personal blueprint for safety, one that's based on science, on your context, and on your own unique journey.